So some of you guys know that I've been struggling over the last 4 weeks or so. It's now early July 2015, and for the past 4 weeks or so, I've really been struggling. Kind of refocusing my place in the world. So many of you know that I'm an addiction junkie. When I lived in LA, I was a big pot smoker, and then I've been a workaholic. And now one of my big addictions, while they get healthier, my big addictions is personal development. And for years, I've really immersed myself in the personal development community, and I've invested substantially in increasing my own capacity for awesomeness, and finding ways in which I can let go of limitations in my life, limiting belief systems, limiting storytelling in my life, and something happens when you're increasing the size of your emotional toolkit through this kind of work. Any of you who participate in this kind of stuff regularly, you recognize, you have moments where you wake up and realize your toolkit is bigger. You've changed the way that you behave. The way that you respond to things is completely different. You infrequently get upset or get angry, and if you do, you recognize it as an indicator that some kind of change is necessary, but not necessarily, it doesn't, in the past, situations used to make me kind of vomit on other people, my stress. And now I manage that stuff with a lot of grace, and I'm so proud of that because it took a lot of work to get there. But what's happened recently for me is that I've recognized my toolkit has expanded, and with that, there's this immense responsibility I feel to refocus my energy and determine how I'm evolving my purpose in the world. When your toolkit grows, so does your responsibility. And so I feel like I have been sitting at this chessboard for 4 weeks, and I'll stare at the chessboard and I just don't know what move to make. And I'll stare at it and I'll stare at it, and then I'll walk away for a while. And then I'll come back to it and I'll stare at it some more. But for the past 4 weeks, I haven't been making a move. And that's very unlike me. I'm somebody I'm a quick decision maker, I'm aggressive, I'm assertive. I'm kind of a let's go make a mess of it and then figure out, we'll clean it up later kind of a guy. And so for these past 4 weeks, for me to be sitting in this space of patience and listening, very unusual, and really, to be honest, quite uncomfortable for me. I've had to get used to and get comfortable winding down and being calm with myself. It's kind of exhausting, to be honest. It's really hard. But I feel like I'm starting to come out of that. And the way I'm coming out of it is I'm doing some writing around my purpose and what it's evolving into. And I'm excited about it again. And I'm excited that I'm going to share it with you guys in the coming future here. But I think the key piece that I wanted to share in creating this video is encouragement to keep evolving, to keep putting yourself in situations that are challenging, that force you to grow, where all you have to do is show up and you'll be pushed. Commit yourself to things where you will be pushed naturally by the system to grow. Gestalt is like that for me. As long as I show up, I'm going to get my ass kicked. And in different capacities, in different weekends when I go, sometimes it's kind of a lighter ass kicking and sometimes it's really heavy. But by committing to it and showing up, I'm guaranteed growth. And I'm watching it get infused. Same with the Stegan Leadership Academy. As long as I show up and I do the work, which I do fervently because I love it, the organization, RTC, is growing. I'm pushing people to grow in new ways that I didn't know how to lead before. I didn't know how to lead them into these capacities before. And now I do. Now I know how to inspire them to become leaders within their own roles. That's new for us. It's so important to what we're trying to do in the world. And the only way that was accessible was for me to put myself in situations where I'm constantly being forced to grow. So I want to encourage you, continue to commit to opportunities that force your growth. Commit to things that scare the shit out of you. Don't be afraid of failure. There is no failure. Failure is only one step closer to a new success. So just commit to putting yourself in those situations that scare the crap out of you and live into them. Commit to living into them in the best capacity you have. Go for the grand slam every time. If you strike out, if you foul out, if you get on base and then you know, while you're trying to steal the next base, you land yourself back in the dugout. That's okay. You're growing, you're increasing your capacity, you're increasing your confidence, your willingness to risk, and all of that stuff is huge for wherever you're headed. So commit to that, live into that, and then continue to assess and find that space of determining, what am I responsible for now that I've increased my personal capacity? What am I now responsible for? What is the world asking of me now that my toolkit has expanded? That's where the opportunity is. That's where the love is. That's where the awesomeness is. Thanks so much. I hope this was helpful.